So traditional pharmacy, the way we were set up, and the stores that I've gone into, this is the way that the majority of them are. You have that drop off area that's probably your most educated technician is standing there, maybe even your pharmacist. I've been into quite a few stores that way, and they're processing. They're doing the processing, phone answering, all that good stuff, and they're fixing all the problems. And then from there, once it prints out immediately, usually they print them out, and everybody's kind of on the basket trend. So they put it in a basket and ship it down. And at that point, they have another technician or the pharmacist who actually counts it, or automation. And then from there, all on the same counter, usually it goes down to the pharmacist. They check it. And then somebody will either have to stop what they're doing, or they might have a high school student or a customer service clerk that takes it from there and hangs it up, and then waits on the customers. So that's the very traditional way that we've seen it across the board for ages, right? And that's the way we were. We actually built this store, designed this store 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, around that workflow.
Were you doing like single color baskets, or did you have priority based colored baskets?
Priority based, like green was here or white was here. I don't even know what we had at the time, but this was delivery. This was a waiter. We weren't using our software system the way that we should have, that actually prioritized that stuff for us. We designed this whole thing around that workflow. And quickly we learned that just doesn't work. It doesn't work. And I've said it a lot at a lot of the places I've spoke to. Like there's a study that's out there, and I keep saying Chicago. I need to pull it up and post it, but I'm pretty sure it was in Chicago. They actually did a study on pharmacies. At what point is it not good for pharmacists to check over a certain amount of scripts? And that even goes down to your technicians, right? And so they come up with all this stuff, and they found error rates at 300 a day and below. Pharmacists and technicians did really well. Like old school traditional way of doing things was fine. At that 300 mark, that's when everything really starts going crazy. And so when, and I know we're going to get into it, but when I got into my workflow, that was a big statistic that I found that I based a lot of my stuff around. And I think that's really where our tipping point was. We were historically doing 300 or a little bit more, getting up to that 400. Some days, you have after holidays, but when we had those days consistently, it was chaos.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you have 300 independent prescriptions that are, not moving through as part of a sync cycle.
Yeah. And even in a sync cycle, I mean, you process a lot in a sync, depending on how you have it set up. A lot are coming through, even if they're refills, and it can be overwhelming if you don't have a good system in place.